Welcome to the top 5 best luxury golf course communities in the Colorado Springs area. Part 2. Now let's jump right back in. I would like to say that I'm really just scratching the surface on all of these subdivisions in this video. And if you go to my YouTube channel, you will find more in-depth videos on each one of these subdivisions. For example, here's Kissing Camels right there. And you will also find a link to these videos in the description below. And on top of that, this is my local website, and if you go to the communities tab, this is where you're going to find even more information on all of these subdivisions as well, and the current inventory. Well, let's see, there's Flying Horse North right there. Boom, Flying Horse North. You'll find frequently asked questions and all of the current inventory. So this is fantastic. And if you go past the inventory, you're going to find HOA information, a lot more information about the golf course, who to contact, and all the above for each one of these subdivisions, and you will also find links to these in the description below. Welcome to number 1 on our list, and that is Flying Horse North, the sister community to Flying Horse Main. This luxury subdivision is at the top of my list for several reasons, starting with these magnificent views. I know the camera is not going to catch these. Of course, we have overcast today. This is actually my 3rd attempt to come out here. First time my camera didn't work. Second time it was pouring on me, and this is the 3rd. Everything out here is just wide open. All the properties, you can probably just see a few homes there. Everything's on 2+ acre lots. These are all magnificent custom built homes. You will not find 2 of the same homes within this subdivision. It just gives you this extremely private, elegant feel throughout the neighborhood, and it's really the only golf course community that you can live on this size acreage lots with these towering ponderosa pine trees and views of Pikes Peak. This golf course has become one of the most talked about golf courses in Colorado just for these reasons. The other reason it's on the list is its proximity to town. This is part of the Flying Horse Country Club golf course package, so you do have to be a member of the Flying Horse Country Club in order to play here. So it is a private course. Flying Horse North is for the buyers that have a very large budget. $2 million. Maybe you can sneak in here if you're lucky. Most of the homes in this subdivision are $4 million+, and there are still some opportunities to buy a lot and build your custom dream home. And of course, I do know which builders to work with, and even more importantly, which builders not to work with within this subdivision. So all that combined is why Flying Horse North is number 1 on my list of the best luxury golf course communities in the Colorado Springs area. Now, before you fall in love with one of these luxury golf course communities in Colorado Springs, we need to talk about something extremely important. Every single one of these neighborhoods has potential deal breakers, depending on the type of buyer you are. And honestly, these are the exact reasons I've had buyers both choose and walk away from each of these communities. So if you're considering golf course living in Colorado Springs, this section may help you avoid choosing the wrong neighborhood for your lifestyle. Let's start with Kissing Camels. One of the biggest reasons I've had buyers pass on this community is something that surprises people. There are quite a few second and third homes throughout Kissing Camels. I recently worked with buyers who absolutely loved the homes, the views, and the location, but they ultimately felt the community was just a little too quiet for what they were looking for. One of them actually described it as feeling almost like a museum. Beautiful, peaceful, but not very lively. They ended up choosing a neighborhood with more full-time residents and more families because they wanted that active neighborhood feel. Now, here's the important part. For many luxury buyers, that quiet environment is actually a huge selling point. Next up is Pine Creek. This is another fantastic golf course community, but I have had buyers pass on Pine Creek for a very specific reason. Many of the homes in their price range were built primarily in the 1990s. Some relocation buyers prefer newer construction because they're thinking long-term about major replacement costs like roofing, siding, HVAC systems, and kitchen or interior updates. I've had clients choose newer communities with smaller lots because they like the lower maintenance and newer finishes, but interestingly, I've also had buyers specifically target Pine Creek because they loved larger lots and saw older homes as an opportunity to customize and renovate over time. Now let's talk about King's Deer. And this one can surprise people. I mentioned earlier that King's Deer can experience stronger wind during winter months, but that's not the only factor that has made some buyers hesitate. The size of the homes can actually be a deal breaker. I've worked with buyers with budgets around $1.5 million who could easily afford these homes, but they simply didn't want to maintain a 5,000 to 6,000 square foot property. For some buyers, those estate style homes are exactly what they're looking for. For others, it feels overwhelming. Now, Flying Horse has one of the most discussed long-term considerations. The proposed Powers Road extension is expected to eventually run through portions of the community. I've had several buyers decide not to purchase in Flying Horse because they were concerned about long-term traffic and development. However, I've also had buyers who still chose Flying Horse, but were very strategic about selecting homes positioned farther away from the proposed roadway. That's something I spend a lot of time helping relocation buyers evaluate. Flying Horse North has one of the biggest future unknowns right now. There is a proposed large luxury hotel development that, if built, would be designed to compete with the Broadmoor. As of today, it has not been approved, and honestly, there's still uncertainty around whether it ever will be. However, there is currently a 60-acre parcel designated for commercial development. That uncertainty has caused some buyers to pause because they want to know exactly what they'll be living next to long term. The biggest concerns I hear are potential construction timelines, future traffic increases, and changes to neighborhood privacy. But again, I've also worked with buyers who actually see nearby resort amenities as a major lifestyle advantage, and this is exactly why I call these trade-offs. What feels like a deal breaker to one buyer can actually be a major selling point to another. Some buyers want the massive estate homes you find in King's Deer. Others prefer smaller homes with less maintenance. Some buyers love the quiet, second home atmosphere of Kissing Camels. Others want a more active, full-time community. There is no one-size-fits-all best golf course neighborhood in Colorado Springs. That was a lot of information. Great job sticking it out to the end. This video was so much fun to put together. Honestly, I think I have more work into this video than any other one. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. I'm actually not the agent that puts out 2 videos per week because, gosh, they take so long for me to put out. I try to put out videos that have a lot of really good information for you. So if you appreciate that, just give me a thumbs up. A thank you in the comments would be fantastic. I love when I get phone calls and somebody says, I just finished watching your video. Do you have time for some more questions? Absolutely. I can never get all the information out on these videos. So if that's you, please feel free to reach out. Call the number right here. This is Casey Fortune at Fortune Realty. Thank you so much for watching.